Hello and welcome, Mark Doody here again. Now we're going to do episode 5 and 6 of Tales of the Walking Dead. Right, episode 5. So basically a guy wakes up with amnesia and he's been accused of murdering people, and basically, you know, one of them is turned into a zombie and is then, you know, communicating with him, blaming him for the deaths of her family. Now a lot of it is in English and French, and basically I'm not going to give any spoilers away, and basically, you know, it's like a mystery to unravel what happened with this guy who has amnesia, and where the story then progresses to the point where what happened. Episode 6, which is, let me think now, I have to think, because to be honest, you know, Tales of the Walking Dead for me is pretty bland. So episode 6 is basically they go to this woman's house who's a witch, and basically, you know, the male wants to stay, he wants the house. And basically the whole story then evolves around this witch, and basically it's like a Amityville horror kind of episode. And basically the house is like haunted, yeah. So overall, episode 5 for me, alright, it was a different spin on it, but for me it's just not The Walking Dead, if I'm honest. And I'm going to lump both of them together and basically see, you know, this entire season of Tales of the Walking Dead, for me, has been pretty nah all the way through. I've not really enjoyed it. Alright, there's a different spin on it, but for me, it's not felt like The Walking Dead at all. I mean, that's probably the point of it. I would have rather have had, you know, I mean, I completely forgot about, you know, Alpha's episode from my review from episode 1 to 4. I completely forgot about that, and that was the only one that was more like, you know, The Walking Dead. But again, there's no stakes in it, because obviously you know the story of Alpha, but they do reference it by saying, oh, you know, I can't remember word for word because the season's so, you know, so boring for me. I didn't like it. I'll be honest, I didn't like it at all, because it doesn't feel like The Walking Dead. There's nothing, you know, again, that may be a good thing in some ways, because obviously Walking Dead is nowhere near its prime anymore. But, you know, things have evolved, and, you know, they're trying different ideas. They're trying to keep the Walking Dead franchise alive. And for me, this is a bit of a flop. And that's my own personal opinion. Some of you might have liked the difference, you know, how the story's been told. I mean, there's only one episode I really enjoyed, but at the same time, it's an episode I really hated. I really enjoyed the episode where you have, like, a Discovery Channel guy going around monitoring the zombies as if, you know, following migration patterns, following how, you know, how as a community they were, you know, they were being studied, you know, and how he studied them. He did it like a wildlife program, set up cameras, he followed them, he kept track of them, you know, and he was trying to, you know, discover something new about him, and that I enjoyed. I hated the female character, not because she's a woman, before anyone starts moaning about it, but it was just how she came across all the time, just whingy, too whingy, all the time, and it was like, nah, for me, nah. So, the best element also has one of the worst elements, because her character, I completely hated her character. It was just too whingy and too grating for me. But anyway, episode 5 and 6. Episode 5 was alright, you know, but again, I wasn't really gripped into it. I was picking up my phone and flicking on Tinternet, you know what I mean? Episode 6, I kind of started watching it, and to be honest, I didn't make it all the way through. I got pretty much near to the end, and I kept on fast forwarding. I was bored because, you know, for me, this isn't The Walking Dead. Alright, they're trying to make a new spin on it, granted. They're trying to make, you know, extend the franchise. But again, you know, it's like, they promised us Andrew Lincoln to be, you know, making the Rick film. They were going to make 3 films, and for me, I was excited for that. I was expecting, you know, like a big blockbuster. I was, you know, ready. I know how it ends for Rick. You know what I mean? And it ain't a spoiler, because everybody knows everybody dies in this. Everybody's gonna die. It doesn't matter. The end comes for all, pretty much. But at the same time, it's like, you know, Tales of the Walking Dead adds a new flavour. Is it a flavour we wanted? In my opinion, no. But granted, everybody's got their own opinion. Some people might love this show, but for me, it's... you know what I mean? It's like Fear the Walking Dead, when they started bringing in, you know, a new spin on it. They put into a new situation with all the nuclear, and again, it's... because it to me, it's lost its momentum. It's lost its ideas. Every season seems to be the same, and now it's at the point where it was good while it was good, but now it's boring. You know, it's like, you know, you've got the new series coming out with Negan and Maggie. I love Negan and I hate Maggie. I loved Maggie through, you know, the first season 2 when she was introduced. I loved Maggie up until a certain extent, and then all of a sudden her character changed, and for me her character's turned very arrogant and dislikable for me. Again, people love Maggie, and again, you know, it's differences of opinions, but, you know, this is my review of it, and this is how I feel about it. But I will accept different kind of, you know, different ideas. But at the end of the day, for me, Walking Dead, it is now Walking Dead. It is just carrying on, trying to create new and exciting ideas, and to be honest, it's over. It's done. You know what I mean? And, you know, I don't really want to watch the Negan and Maggie show. Beyond the Walking Dead is, it's garbage. It's just garbage. I just don't like the idea of it. But you've got to watch it in order, you know, because they were using that to springboard the whole Rick situation. And again, it's not doing it for me at all. Fear the Walking Dead's gone in a different direction. And again, that for me, now, you know, I hate Madison. I've never liked Madison. You know what I mean? And the problem was, you know, I love Alicia is amazing, but the story with her is it's grinding at you. You're thinking, really? Okay, are they trying to allude to certain things? They probably are. And again, you know, I'm trying to think of what the guy's name is. Morgan. I like Morgan. I've always liked Morgan. I've been excited waiting for his character to come back in it, and then he come back in it, and that was probably around the time it was at its prime. But again, you know, I'm trying to think of what the lad's name was. I can't think. Again, you know, I'm terrible with names. Anybody who watches my channel knows I'm terrible with names. What was the boy's name? I can't think. If you remember, put it in the comments below. But, you know, Alicia's brother, I hated his character at first, and then as you saw how he was progressing through the story, his entire arc, it really won me over. It really has won me over, and I loved his character. And then as soon as, you know, he come to the chopping block, it was kind of like, okay, I kind of miss it. You know what I mean? I do miss his character. But again, You know, it's in a world where everybody's due to die. But for me, I wish they carried him on. Why did they bring Madison back? Why? I don't know. I suppose it fills in some of the plots that they've got going on. But for me, the entire series of The Walking Dead's gone down. But again, this is Tales of the Walking Dead. I'll start waffling on about the other shows. What more can I say about it? I'm going to do a full season review. So out of 5, I'll give it a doody rating. It looks like The Walking Dead. So, story-wise, for me, I'm going to give it a 2. Which is rather low, I know. But I'll give it a 2.9, because it's just below average, because the stories just don't make sense. You know what I mean? It's just like, there's only like the Alpha episode. Alright, it's nice to see Alpha back in it, but again, there's no stakes in it. You know what happens. The daughter, you know what happens. We've watched The Walking Dead, we've followed it through. Do we really need this episode? Which we didn't. We didn't really need it. So, you know, and the other one with, I'll call it the Discovery Channel episode, because that's what it feels like. For me, again, this was a great episode. I loved it. I loved that idea. It was great. And I wish more of the ideas were more to that side of things than to like the paranormal. Because a lot of the episodes were paranormal. I mean, the first episode wasn't great. It was okay. I mean, I did enjoy it. Terry Crews. I can't think of his name before. Terry Crews. And I liked that. I liked, you know, the whole, how his dog died. He's gone on a mission to find his pen pal. I don't know why he would do that in a zombie apocalypse, because you know they're probably dead, but he has an inkling that she's still alive, and you follow that arc. Yeah, okay, that episode was great. I'll give it that. That episode was great. But, you know, it swings and roundabouts with this. You've got a couple of great episodes and a couple of, you know, I can't really believe that it's in this universe, which I can't. So, I don't know. Would I suggest to watch it? Yes, because everybody's got their own likes and opinions on it. And some people may love this, might love this twist. Granted, I didn't, because it didn't feel like The Walking Dead. And that's the whole reason I kind of thought, you know, the first episode for me pulled me in. I will be honest, it pulled me in. Episode 2, with the Groundhog Day kind of thing, nah, not for me. You know what I mean? Then you got, you know, I can't remember whether the Alpha episode was 3 or whether it was 4, and the Discovery Channel 3 and 4, whichever way they came. Okay, for me, it was like Alpha. I loved Alpha in, you know, in The Walking Dead. They could have done so much better with the Whisperers. They could have made it amazing, but they didn't. So again, they had an opportunity to make something great with that story, but again, there's no stakes in it. But they're trying to flush out a character. I mean, in the actual series of The Walking Dead, they should have done a lot more with the Whisperers. They wasted it. They could have brought Walking Dead back into its prime by doing something great with the Whisperers, because the stories with the Whisperers was amazing in the comics. It was brilliant. But again, you know, it ain't the comics. They had to adapt how they could. You know what I mean? Look at Rick. Rick's meant to have only one arm. And there's a lot more that went on in the comics than what actually happened in the TV show. It was a lot more brutal. But again, what can you do? So, you know, episode 5, you've got amnesia. I like the amnesia story. I like what happened. I like that bit. But then they had like the zombie walking with him. Oh, you did this. And it's like, no. Maybe in someone's mind who's, you know, PTSD and all that with the whole zombie apocalypse situation, they could have flushed out a bit more like that, but they didn't. And for me, again, it wasn't great. I lost interest in it. And then episode 6, haunted Amityville house thing. For me, again, I didn't make it all the way through the episode. I'll be honest, I didn't make it all the way through. I did fast forward a lot of it because I was kind of bored, and for me, again, it was just a wasted episode. I would like to have seen, you know, different stories, how they done it, but more into how the actual universe of The Walking Dead is. It was too far past it. So, at the end of the day, for me, nah, for this season, for me, is a no. I don't like it. But again, people may love this, you know what I mean, a different spin on it. And basically, you know, it's like Marmite, you either love it or you hate it. I think that's going to be one of these series where, you know, you either like it or you don't. And I don't like it. And, you know, but if you love it, that's fine. I have nothing against that. You know what I mean? Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. You know what I mean? And if you did love it, please, in the comments below, let me know how you actually felt about it. I would really be interested. Because, you know, maybe I missed something. Maybe I didn't quite, you know, tune in on how you're coming across with the story. But for me, I like a couple of the ideas. A couple of ideas were great. Some of the characters grated me extremely badly. And, you know, it was too beyond The Walking Dead when they started bringing in all this paranormal stuff. And for me, that kind of, no, that's not enough for me. It didn't make sense. It didn't bring out, you know, the universe of The Walking Dead to the screen the way it has been shown before. But anyway, 2.9 out of 5 I'll give it. And that's simply because of it's not true to story. And I know it should be true to story, and I know this, but for me, I find it hard to believe, and I didn't connect with what was on screen. So, that's it. If you liked it, please like, share and subscribe. You know the deal. Ta-da.